And we're back to learning Photoshop in a year. This is day 20. Let me go over cutting out an object from a photo again. I want to create a white background for it. To do that, I copied this, pressing Ctrl J. And now I use the quick action remove background on a property. We've done that in previous tutorials. If you haven't watched them, check out my playlist for this Photoshop project. And now you can see we have a giant problem. The automated system didn't work at all. It certainly cut something out. But the hand was cut out, we want to keep it, and even the edges here of the smartphone, they don't look good. So let me delete the layer mask and I create a new one. This is fully white, which means that we can see everything that's on the original photo. And now we do that manually. Bear with me, we're going to use tools that I've already introduced so far in our playlist. But we're going to go over this a little bit in detail. It's actually a good idea for you to download this photo as well if you're a beginner, because there's a good one for practicing. We're going to use the pen tool now. This tool is a little bit intimidating, but the more you use it, the more you're going to like it. Instead of using shape, we're going to use the path option right here. And now we want to go over the edges. First this clean edge, we left click and then left click again. And if you misclick, what you can do is to just press Ctrl Z and then try again. Close your shape. I've always used left clicks here. No left click drag, just left clicks. And now I click right here on selection. This should open my mix selection menu. I simply confirm this one using a value of 0 for the feather radius. This just means that we're going to get clean, sharp edges. And this gives us these marching arms, so we have our selection. And now switch to the layer mask, which is the white rectangle in our layers menu. Now I want to use the brush tool. You can press B for that. Make black your foreground color. Adjust the size up here. If this happens right here, you've actually got the outside selected. If that happens, press Ctrl Z. We still have our selection. I go to select and use inverse. Shift Ctrl I would be the short key. And now again, I paint over this with a black color. For us, important is only the edge. Right here with the smartphone. And then I go to select none. We're going to delete the rest later on anyway, but as I've said, the edge is important. Let's go over this again with a clean edge on top. Pen tool, P is the short key. Go over this with only left clicks, close your shape, click on selection. Feather radius 0, confirm we are OK. If I paint over this, we still have the outside selected, so press Ctrl Z, select inverse, and now I can paint over the inside. I'm on my layer mask, and this is what we want to have. Now let's take care of a curve right here. I left click, then I left click and I drag. And this gives me the handle. And with the handle, I can now adjust the angle. I want to make this obviously fit my curve here. That looks good. And then I simply go over the outside with left clicks like this to close my shape. Selection, confirm we are OK, feather radius of 0. Invert it, and then use the brush tool with the black foreground color. Ctrl D to deselect, and now you can see we have very clean edges. And that's what we're gonna have to do now. So for some photos, this automated system isn't yet where it should be. Certainly going to improve over time. So if you watch this video in a year from now, the auto selection should work better. But if it doesn't give you the results that you need, you have to do it manually. There is no other way around, at least for now. So as I've said, it's a good idea to practice that. Good idea to use this photo because it gives you the opportunity to practice creating these sharp and also these curved edges using the pen tool. A link to this photo is in the video description below. Now let me go over this edge here. It's all sharp, straight lines. So I can left click. And I've arrived at a finger. Here we have to be careful again. Create a curve later on. Close my shape. Selection for the radius of 0. Confirm. Select. Invert. Brush tool, black foreground color, paint over the edge. Let me make this brush a little bit bigger. I go over the outside. We don't need this anymore. And now we'll take care of the details. Process that I like to use is to create fragments here as well, so I don't go over the finger entirely. Instead, I go over it bit by bit. That's just my workflow, and from experience, it certainly helps me creating better results. Here we don't have that many curves, and therefore I can go over this in one go. Now the other side, again, we have a curve here. I want to create a segment for that, and then go over the rest. Alright, that looks good, especially when we keep in mind what we had via the automated system. We've created a much better result here. Took some time, but it was definitely worth it. Shortkeys to remember are P for the pen tool, B for the brush, Ctrl D to deselect, and Ctrl Shift I to invert. Over time you're going to remember these shortkeys, so don't worry if you don't get them in the first try. Alright, now let's create our white background. To do that, we'll switch to the layer 0 below, which is invisible in our layers menu. Then I click on the plus sign. This creates a layer 1 in between layer 0 and our copy that we've worked on. I'll make my foreground color white. I go to the gradient tool, G is the short key, and I right click on it to select the paint bucket tool. And then I left click on this area and we have a white background. And I see I've missed a little bit of a spot right here at the top right. So I'll switch to the layer mask. Black is my foreground color, and then I paint over this. And that's about it. This is how I can create a white background in Photoshop manually. I hope this video was helpful, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.